Ebusuafo ne etifo ni de kwan so me pacho me ma obi bia akwa ababa channel so anu me daily update ebusuan me pacho ya to abawie. So far the parliamentary season no NDC for CP na omonte omo ho asinti o makọ court. Na omo call court no pina me can say almost by 7 to 8 seats e wo court NDC for a contest na me pacho one of those contested seats no Tema Central. Na ebusuan be kaya bra ye to abawie ye no. The returning officer declare a be bright na oye NDC PC no or declare as the winner. Na yenim de see ye Jemensa led EC APA Babontin Ebeka said the EC no and sorry the returning officer no declare under duress intinu or call for recollation any declaration. Emma Jemensa FA so far nanka wasa omu declare ewo Tema Central omu coalition center no is no F so far the returning officer no free hon the returning officer no call is in regional office Accra Emma o could declare and as okoye recollation ekoye redeclaration in favor of Charles Forson and no ye NPP PC na sa isem we buy NDC for mountain die o makọ court akọ contest na me pacho. Ever since NDC for court no omo hwehwe Charles Forson to serve him. Na anytime ombe try so ombe kwakọ serve Charles Forson na Charles Forson edwane. We dwane na minim de nti a wo dwane. Minim de nti kra edwane say NPP for sana aba omo so. I mean NPP for omo sisi no e contested no. Anytime a person o serve omo bia na wo medwane from service. Na Sir Charles Forson ono so ka ho. Ono so ka ho na ono so dwane, ono so invade service. Enam sad no so ntino NDC for court file application for substituted service application for substituted service ne kire say baby o bia no metima ko serve no because we invade service omo pass through the normal ways no to serve him na so odwane dia omo court aka check court say court ne mo emma omo akwanya no na bebia omo bi nya Charles Forson bia no ombe 7 ama court no etna asem no so rule in favor of NDC grantee NDC for omo application for substituted service omo kire say bebi omo behu Charles Forson bi omo 7 whether through ni WhatsApp o ni Facebook page o bebia omo betimi get access to Charles Forson no omo mfasa means no omo serve Charles Forson na o appear before the court na court no endi asem no enti na ebusuan information abano no Supreme Court bailiff akọ Charles Forson fee akọ 7 me pacho enhu pictures ana that screen is so no otimi hu say Charles Forson ni fee ni gate ana wo na bailiff no wakọ ho ana ode documents na akọ hange wa almost 7 aka kire ni say wo wasem wo court ye na bra court na court no endi asem no because I didn't na wudwane I didn't know Jansen who so I didn't know Johnny. Tebusia evidence na edasono credit to 3 News or mona yenya sa sa news we anasa info e free and credit to them. Tebusia impacho entia and as information aba no. E see an Charles Forson on so ni tikika papa ni tikika and then o chine ya ombeko court na court nso atena asem ne so na court na ahwe because e see an court no itima granted this for application for substituted service ama court na ba wo fie abe serve o dia untimi invade service biom nyankopon hya ye nyina na me pacho the energy minister John Ginapo we pia babontin e de nsem de ana se wa beka nsem bi so far ebusuan asem ne ditie me ma me kasa nyetintin ye beko ne akotie nsem a the energy minister, that is the minister for energy John Ginapo JJ Wepiaba abontin abeka nyankopon hira mum that's bebre
for you nro be shas here with because I've tried not to amanfo bebre na efre no mo de complaint eba and ye kania edum den na ekoso but I've tried to be very sure say we would be able to establish a trend and see say a nationwide problem and as a way isolated outages be a ABA system name.
Okay,
what's
issues,
happening? Okay,
2 issues.
Okay,
first of all, system now you're inheriting are very challenged.
Okay,
obi our sector name say we've inherited a very weak energy sector. October 2024 20th and in case almost shut West African pipeline no more maintenance.
Sure.
Abang decided say more shut it because no one say shut here
challenge
baba elections will draw. You expect that government take election just 2 months. To catch on some fan call a February.
Okay.
But now January cry. Yazumi office. Okay, as I made the two. We didn't have enough light crude oil. We didn't have HFO. Distillate fuel crowd and just 5 hours. And I made the two. So we have a major challenge. That's what we've inherited. I mean, I've just done about 2 weeks. Near a binding my and then you could say. It is open solutions are all immediate solutions and a medium-term solutions and a long-term solutions. Nti wapo focus a pipe and there's almost shut it. Timenu ka say be na watching be mienu ni miensani. Oma shut pipeline no.
Mo yes maintenance.
Mo yes pigging exercise no.
Yes.
E china kra me call tema.
Okay.
Na me ni media for. Nti we me invite asempa. Ni nyina ya kohwe ni ekoso.
Sure.
Nti what you do is immediately na say okotofango. Ni friend liquid fuel. Nti President Mama Dauruma ya tore light crude oil 450,000 barrels.
CCR.
Aba.
Okay.
Ya tore diesel and distillate fuel 40,000 metric tons.
Okay.
And ya tore HFO 20,000 metric tons. And to me for you end of the pigging period. Ya sa order another 20,000. And yes kaketwa. No boy dem papa. Fuel and ya tore. So many can say we have enough fuel.
In Ghana,
in tank. But because of pipeline, on your plant, you know it. Plants can be a dual fuel.
Yeah.
You can't dual fuel, a bit more you use gas, a bit more you use liquid fuel. Plant with say TT1PP, 100 megawatts, and yeah, Juma.
But I don't know dual.
Until we free system control center.
Okay.
Supply outlook February 20th.
Okay.
Due to the ongoing pigging exercise of the West African gas pipeline, gas supply to the thermal plants in Tema is 0 SCF.
Okay.
As you can see, 0
SCF, sure.
Because both gas be free Takradiaba and the gas be free Nigeria.
But off.
Off.
Okay.
And now here's what pigging no. Where your video you can see.
Yeah.
Subsea no more no.
Sure.
My old one no more
okay.
And now pig new one on the shemoni.
Okay.
E be duru aseni ati 2 months.
Wow.
Nti ama plants ni be
and a gas from Atuabo no and also you use WAPCO for pipeline.
Okay. There's no gas at Tema.
Okay.
The expects are around 2nd on Bewie
of March.
Okay. Nti mieka say we have just enough generation to meet demand. We have no reserves. Njaye se neck and neck. The fuel ya dear banya ye be nyina ne say immediately within 1 month there you bet me say about tofu no enough ne bo den kra now there my plants are you bet me use liquid fuel but always you need a 20% reserve margin.
Yes,
confident no ba ko bet me atochi makakra nti weekend you say enfidie no ba ko enya problem tapco engineers no worked overnight in less than 48 hours they brought it back. Until next year, near Great for their Bremen. Export to Sonabel will be reduced to 90 instead of 150. Export to CIA will be reduced to 70 instead of 120. Export to CEB will be reduced to 30 instead of 100. Consequently, no load management will be required during the off-peak period.
The off-peak period, okay.
The peak period, no, so near lower more.
Yeah, lower exports volumes
to zero. Now even Valco, yes, Chiomo about 30 just to hold. Nti no, ebi na plant bibi kakra ba na a lower kakra. Now you have a challenge, but immediately you try to bring it up. Nti we've been doing our very best to hold the system. That's one. 2, Kumasi areas.
Yes.
Network in enye kra.
And by network, you mean lines, no?
The system generally. The transformers, the bulk supply points, demand no outgrow supply no. Nti power no cost kakra pe na transformer no. And this is the bulk supply. Nti even with enough capacity no, certain areas be where they generally go off. Yeah. We have to inject more transformers. You've been in this sector before.
Yeah.
Water transformer, or transport, why you concrete, now you see what now huku, now
at a long time.
2 weeks, would to me. Nti mesre etiefo say be amunya challenges kakra. Engineers now are working around the clock to ensure say even with near ya inheriting will continue to hold the system and stabilize it.
But the assurance and they said they can I mean the was a gun in EBA who when they said now our generation any ye demand a neck to neck.
Yes.
In the economy because you reach equilibrium. No excess capacity as we speak. And as no reserve margin.
No, no reserve margin.
It means that machines can be a who touch them up.
Then we're in
there
trouble.
would be a problem.
But immediately we will try and bring it back on.
Okay. That is in true level Yebeka say it was managers of the system there was one mind timetable in Drew's level.
I don't think so because many okasa no. Monday and the 28th.
Yes.
Ndiaka be 9 days. We'll start switching back to
so wapko for we
no normally no say we declare load shedding timetable.
Yes.
We are sure say look for the foreseeable time no. Power no here emma.
Yeah.
But say many okasa yes you steam turbine attrap. Engineers move to site to try and work on it.
Yes.
Who publish low time to work China. But China be to cry be no you are back. But we inherited a very weak system. This excess capacity you can your power do your excess capacity will be exported. Can you imagine saying Ghana any be 500 megawatts here export here? Nka asemi ba ye. Can load shedding be si wa no? We can't handle it. Yes, you Uganda consuming only 4,000. Intino have only 4,000. Yeah. Nobody does that. I say when you reserve kakra,
sure.
Even your fuel, you have to have flexibility. Yes. Intino plans in be a near debana. You see any dual fuel. No. Send you buy a gas and ma, you can fall on other source of fuel. Inti mesre at least from there after 1 week, you know, when we start switching to gas. The next year they find going to be said account.
Okay.
Then why you reserve? Inti gas no problem ba ho kra na we'll try and switch and be able to manage it better.
But why do we still after investing close to 1 billion USD in setting up a gas plant? I don't rely on obi pipelines to transport your gas.
Because your gas na wo atuabono. You be 100 and a co.
Yes.
In fact, you and Akroma you more.
Okay.
But you see, with all the gas, including N gas, Ebeka will still have a deficit of about 60 scarf.
The amount of gas we have now.
Yes.
Still there is a deficit.
There's a deficit. Even when you add N gas. It's okay. Nigeria for be a pipeline no.
Okay.
No more even 100 scarf. Near the Ghana Diana you win you still demand na grama will still have a deficit.
Okay, it means say we need another gas processing
we need it
plant.
It's urgent. Good. So in the chair meeting,
yes,
the Ghana gas buy the GMPC buy. So look, a few we will be buying about $830 million worth of liquid fuel. And that's sustainable. We can't. They have made a case to finance me. I say 850. I don't need to no. Na say wo bosia bi kura ne bakwakoji na your resources bi na wa yem fancy gas processing plant. We save $450 million every year. Every year $450 million from liquid fuel importation. In about 2-3 years ko be tuaneka.
Na say and you see gas plant for now. Raw gas no be free here.
E be free Jubilee.
Na say Jubilee dey quite
yes, but they can ramp up.
Okay.
They have what you call stranded gas.
Okay.
Until no, see more GS in a gas agreement. Almost some guarantee be near the moment.
Okay.
They will ramp up the gas. By the time a plant in be ready, no more so
ramp up.
And the demand na cost row.
Na ENI
so meet mama 40 crack can be boy. Na fidie na yesi o excess capacity si no. We'll fire them and export the power to Burkina and Cote d'Ivoire. Problem about na me free your Ivorian counterpart.
Yes.
So look, in spirit of collaboration, no, can they give us 200 megawatts? Yeah, better.
Yes.
No, yeah, can see up 100. And also more per 200.
Okay. On be my 200.
Omo
pay from here.
Free yeah. To me no can say yeah export power ko ho.
Yeah.
And there's more opportunity. Mamenda gens of what you know about the issues with gens of folly. But and we fall on them yama makate 70 megawatts I could divide my yentua say you drew period near to exercise near their mom no so export na ya net off. Nti we inherited the system adding, but we are doing everything we can to hold it very tight. Maintenance
are there also plans? My earlier question was WAPCO pipelines now you use can't we build our
absolutely until na your time you can say you dedicated onshore pipeline. Say we near offshore. Offshore just say wo nsuo na say. Yenye a second one. Nka we are shati, we have stranded gas in the west say. Look, gas no wo pipeline any ho. Nti eti say wo enobaye.
Yes.
But articulator do ka kofa ba no. I say. But say wo be a tipper tracker. Articulator say ya wo the tipper track no ba ko saba. Nti we should have done a long time. So NPP for buy ya. I was very surprised. So nkomo ka so ombe yempo and nomne WAPCO for koye negotiation.
Yes.
It would have helped the negotiation. Nti anu so ye idea and next year discuss here. So how can we have a dedicated onshore pipeline? And ye dia.
Yes.
Ye ntua WAPCO for $3 ni biom. Nti one day we nye problem.
Then we
fall or we alternate.
But the challenge with that, I guess, would be say once a year onshore pipelines, no, then it becomes open for attacks. And confirm some more attacking as is happening in Nigeria.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Nigeria, most of the attacks now are vandalism. Because lean gas, I did fire thermal plants no. So individual ko ponchia o de be there normally oil na yo mo ponchi etwe in fact some people crude oil kura no mo twe konoa
sure
but gas there is in a gaseous state and at these days there's a lot of reinforcement yaka say onshore the duru ba bi etimi ko form
sure
enye ni nyina na ewo e duru ba bi eye sensitive kakra they barrel down and a cast uko hu pipeline no concrete ne niema e cover ho na. To puncture gas pipeline is not easy. When you cry, you will cause your own death. And a Ghana so and Shedda to Nigeria. We have onshore pipelines from Bupe to Bolga. It's working fairly well. Bost there, no. It's not that bad, but we need it. We need it. I mean, a idea.
But Boston so will tell you say omunya puncture. So of course, some of the liquid. Yeah.
But new one Akroma they are ban better.
Okay.
It's a technology cost. Old one no more puncture easily. But new one no to be able to puncture it and these days with even remote sensors, flow meters you can pinpoint Hana and then you move there and rectify it. But there's no alternative. We necessarily need it. But yes, we are under an IMF program. We have to find a way of raising financing, even under an IMF program. And the cabinet, Minister of Finance, by your presentation, he would do a briefing to the country. And you see some labor for Ekwaji. I can only salute them.
Anything more, Anka Yasombe?
It's not possible. Look, and yet possible. The primary balance. I agree here last year, 0.5%.
Yes.
It's ended negative 4.5%. Negative. Look, my ministry. Last year, I'm coming to say, okay, I want to see contracts a year. This year, 9.7 billion.
In commitments?
Contracts for 1 year.
Yes, on the contract.
On the supplies. 9.7 billion.
Dollars?
Yeah, cedis.
Cedis.
ECG that was this year. Is here. I printed it. Any 68 billion 653 million 766,605. So power producers 52 billion, Gridco 4 billion, syndicated loan 499, Suppliers 9 billion. Suppliers 9 billion. ECG. Subsidiary loan 734. Total any 68.
Where ECG
but ECG but your receivables is
8 billion. Into a gap of over
60 billion. This is official. Every ECG the BAMO. Over 60 billion.
And where for a 1 year period, and that's over the
Not
period.
currently. You need
like
60 billion
to clear their
ECG
to clear their books
to remain you can't say to break even. 60 billion cedis. Fuel near other ones in my car. Where ye power produce? What's the fuel near?
Yeah, fuel.
What the fuel come on? You're hitting about 80 billion.
Fuel and so car that. I don't know ECG they procure.
Yes. And gas actually let them in one. I'm say you be pipeline the maintenance and they won't give us.
Yeah, they won't. So I'm say from March they will not.
Yeah.
Unless we pay them.
Unless we pay $75 million.
And gas.
And gas. Letter, official letter. I can show it to you. An official letter from NGAS.
And if NGAS or Munsu Jai gas, no,
then we are in serious trouble. See, gas no from NGAS, we are in serious trouble.
So we need money to pay the 75 million.
The President Frame Honorable Forson said, "Dear, you bet my yes. May call Nigeria near Copacho. So I feel near Ba. Agencies no cry and setting in area into a pomucho. You bet Trebi. But Yamaboni and Tiakakra. I brave be taking your time now. You have to send your money and that brings to the fact some of the reforms are your day banner.
But even before we come to the reforms, the other thing would be say Ghana Nibia 8 year number one, challenges be kakra in your supplier. You should understand the situation at least in 2 weeks time. Say NGAS for we WAPCO for we juma more na Nyoma will come back to normal because we are going back to your gas supply.
Absolutely.
Power
Absolutely.
The Nyoma will come back to normal. But going forward, no sector na a challenge. But a car edaho. How we clear that debt is a part of the conversation.
Absolutely.
Is it because of that? In negotiations with IMF, there are proposals. I'll say you increase tariffs now.
And not there. I buy no echo IMF and normal committees will increase the tariffs.
NPP.
Oh yes, I'll give you those. Yes.
But why didn't they increase it?
They increased it by about 78% in 2022 or 3. You can check. The records are there. I mean, where there, check it. Almost 80% in 1 year. But 2024, because of elections, whether you see the IMF report. So I was asking IMF once, more trend. All the indicators derailed. All inflation derailed. Primary balance derailed. Almost all of them derailed. And I was asking IMF, I didn't know you were Bema. Mom person becano crena. And this goes across for you now. But I buy any free man IMF. I started can't say no cre. So government mismanage the system, this. So I was asking them, say, how do you expect me to say this year? Maybe increase electricity tariff by 80%. Now last year, maybe you hit the 80, but people won't feel it. But all of a sudden this year, was it because you intimate to last year? No, you're finding this year. Because there's a fundamental challenge. We have your power now. Reserve margin, no, it's not part of the tariff structure. And count. Until be a reserve margin 20%, be 1,000 megawatts. 1,000 megawatts and tariff, so somebody must pay for it. 2 losses no. Yeah, connect be 22, and now could be 40%. Losses. ATC and
distribution losses.
Yes.
Technical and
aggregate,
commercial.
Technical, commercial, and collection.
Almost 40%.
Almost 40%. Something must be done about it. ECG inefficiency. Too bad. Usika ya hena ukoma supply is 9 billion. ECG will bear 3,000 containers stuck at the port. Say.
Containers of what?
Supplies, meters, cables, poles, consumables. Demurrage 1.5 billion cedis. Demurrage, ECG. Demurrage 1.5 billion. Look, every day we be about office, banks, Hano, ECG man contract. It's unsustainable. ECG 1.5 billion. No more keep 500.
That's emerging revenues.
Yes.
1.5 billion USD.
Yes. No, cedis.
No more keep 500.
Yes. I declare only 1 billion to the cash waterfall.
To the cash waterfall.
I've issued instructions. This year, this month, it will stop.
Now, retaining 500 the year day, like 500 million now.
Omako ye up 3%. Omako be offering no super vendor. Lies are ye tony. Almost I do be a share middle name. So no na enrenian ton lies no. Nani panaji 5%. Until right from the beginning no. About 8% up for and a tip from source. They're not banks.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot, master. We have to do something. That's a fact. And I'm determined to do something as minister. I may not get everything I want, but I am determined to do something. So I've written to them, said they should close all those accounts. They shouldn't go for any loan. Say 2 weeks, don't go for an overdraft to pay an IPP. The cost of financing is just too much. We're the cost of borrowing today. At the end of the month, and if they are listening, this month, that is what will happen. If it doesn't happen,
all the revenues they collect now, no?
All should go into one holding account.
For the cash waterfall mechanism.
Then with PRC, at least and that will happen. I've written 2 letters to them. I'll fire another one next week. I want to give them weekly reminders. Bosumen is on the 2nd day of the month. They should come and account to all of us. And we'll give further direction. Maza, system no, it will collapse.
It will collapse.
No, it's a fact.
And I recall, sir, and maybe good start in putting together a committee on the private sector participation in ECG. I was privileged to have appeared before the committee.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you. They invited me, so me share me experience, kakra. I think private sector participation in ECG is a necessity. There should be no two ways about that. And on that journey, you have my 100% support.
And let me clear this.
Yes.
ECG.
Of course.
Until let nobody misquote me. Say John Jinapo say ECG. No. Can say particularly distribution and
sure.
Like billing, collection, and maybe maintaining a certain aspect of the. I'm telling you the gospel fact. 3 months now your major bills no.
Postpaid.
Postpaid.
Oh, okay. In Accra, why should we still be on postpaid?
That is the question. Issue. Prepaid needs to be brave. They don't communicate. Prepaid need be brave. You find out people from people. It be the ready too fast. It be ready too slow. Prepaid need cry and standardize no. The communication is not proper. Sometimes you increase the tariff. Either be over ready, and now it will read below. These are all matters that we need to solve. And you say you take committee. Send you working. You person private sector. A bishim. Say that's all.
Sure.
Uko iwako chirewa june. Obi ako chire na june. Ni yankani nyina mom. Ni say Ghana for send no modwen say your my private sector boa. I mean, who would say won't pay private participation? Unless won't pay mine no a year. What I insist is that it should be done in a transparent manner.
Sure.
Minister of Energy enko share chire enko fa company bi empia omo shem because of interest. And now senior Minister of Finance here in entry letter say wo cheche shares in we nkwa ha yenye no finchim open competitive tender committee we omo adwuma we'll have an implementation committee. I can make one TUC should be part of it.
Yeah. And
they should be part of it. Look, come. Now, insisted there should be an element of local content participation. There will be value retention. Ebia uniska and I only think I know akope amanoni ni bia or no abe partner. Near yen come next car more generous no. Ye the another law aba cash collection and declaration account. Munina mufanku go bia obi bank mo. Maybe by legislation kran say scan ba we inquire. Aba bua kakra. I say yeah kase yempe we dia. Then there's another interest. It cannot hold. That is a fact. Look, if we continue this trajectory, by the end of the year, all the thermal plants, the private ones, they'll shut down. Because almost the Nkrofoka.
Sure.
Almost the Nkrofoka, early power. Almost by me ho. I'll pull you on the Ebaya Bra, Kasa. Director na Edibremi Ministry of Finance Payment, remember? Just 1 minute to Mr. Because I'll pull it out for you. And you see a car a day early power for. And if we don't do anything, they will eventually shut down.
Sure.
Because there is nothing they can do. Payment arrears. $45 million.
One IPP.
Early power, one IPP. Any? Sure. Kabuma. PPA outstanding. 48. Deferred under ARPPA. 3 million. Outstanding under ARPPA. 44. Fuel. Omato in 44 million. Total, including fuel, $93 million.
Wow.
76,433. Wow. One and cry a ketwa 200 megawatts.
Yeah, early power 200 megawatts.
Car power. Ediomka $370 million. Dollars or yes cities. Car power. The same with Senate power. The same. Now say one tiasie. Ni etimuna na ope. Ema ye nyense ensachire bia. Mo muso se politicians na yedi ehushishe mu a problem ba politician timi frɛ ECGMD ma we contract ma we say it is say yam fan share private sector nsem obi say your concession near the area we ma near ma target Minister of Energy betima frɛ say
no
for contract ma we by force
no
e be did go sikam the same with petroleum sector. I'm determined that we'll reform it. How we use the UPPF, how we do the transportation, how we even put the margins and levies on fuel. There should be transparency. And as much as possible, go to Parliament. Say ECG nyeska bibra. A boy ministry no because ministry no be nyeska. Near the street light and ne won keka. So there's no short way out. Timesre pool for ECG workers, At this time, our focus should be there near Baye. Amana ye. But ye kase mayen yakshi. Yentena hosa. We're going to have a major.
No, I know. I think, reasonable minds around the table should agree. Say, the status quo cannot remain. I told the committee when I met them, say, I've worked in ECG before. I understand ECG problem to some extent. I don't think baby I was CCR can continue. It's not possible. Because sometimes a mindset way of the staff.
Abusia for me do bibia se when yamre no abenya video ni bin so a share se dem kan no hand me daily update TV. Obo kwan so se wonya ye video no hwe wie ni se woni gyen kwanda please my thumb up subscribe to your YouTube channel na share a video ma love version so nya ye videos ni bi enhwe nyakopon hya yina na onye kese ma rev se o do comment e be hye ho your comment no man nya constructive never hye ho no ye be gena ya kenkan ye da se bebre patcho ye din commodity be stay tuned for more updates me da se